Are you a lazy gardener like me? You let things go to seed, let things go way too long, don't really want to plant things year to year? I got a few plants here that are made perfectly for the lazy gardener. Plants once and you'll get them for many, many years to come. What am I talking about? Hey everybody, Doug the Crock Gardener here. We are in the garden today and we're going to talk a little bit about my perennials and basically some plants that just come back from year after year after year. So those are pretty much the ones that are self-seeding themselves. So let's get started. First off, what are we talking about with a perennial? Well, a perennial is something that's going to be coming back from year to year, more than 1 year, it'll come back. Let's just start off here. The first thing I got here growing is I got a couple of apple trees. I have a Honeycrisp apple tree and I have a Granny Smith apple tree. The Granny Smith is a self-fertilizing apple tree, so when you get apple trees, you may need to have 2 of them to be able to pollinate and make sure that they are fertile. Really kind of do your research on those. You'll have to worry about getting those the right kind for your location and have them bloom at the right time, so that way you have 2 of them that can cross-pollinate with each other. The peach trees, not so much. I have 2 peach trees here. I also do have a Doggle apple tree, which is basically like a crab apple tree. Got that. Maybe we'll make some crab apple butter. I got those initially for my deer food plots, and I took one home for use out of those. We also have asparagus. Yes, asparagus is great for the garden. Plant that once and it will continue to give and give and give and give. It is one of the great producers in your garden. You get those early in the spring and then you just let it fern out. It is something that is fantastic to grow and should keep you for many, many years of food. Another thing that I have in my garden would be blueberries. I have 5 blueberry plants. 3 of them are not doing so well because they are getting overcrowded, which I'm going to dig up and move probably this year. But of those blueberries, 2 of them are really old plants that I transplanted last year, so we'll see what we got with those guys. Next thing on the list is my cold hardy kiwi plants. I got 4 of these guys. These guys are brand new to the garden, so I really don't have too much information on them, other than I got 3 females and 1 male. They produce better if you have if you do have a male. That way you got the pollination features going on there. So think about that whenever you're purchasing those. If you do purchase those are vigorous growers, so you want to have some type of trellis for them. The other thing that is another vigorous grower would be our grapes. So you want to make sure with the grapes that you do have a trellis for those as well. I have 4 different grapes, 2 whites, 2 reds. One's a good wine growing variety. It's a Chamberson variety. The other varieties are going to be good for making jams and eating fresh. I do have a massive elderberry bush. Actually, there's 2 of them there. There's 2 different kinds there. Those produce a ton of berries. Need to work on getting those harvested better this year and maybe make some jams or some tinctures out of there for those. Blackberries, I have several blackberries. I got 2 tame varieties here, and then I also have a wild variety that I took out from our deer hunting ground. And those are growing fantastic right now. Those are actually slowly overtaking the garden. I have so many brambles that I have to keep digging those up and replanting them, or digging them up and tossing them into the compost. Another item on the list that I have is Comfrey. This is one of the most used plants in the garden for me. I use this plant for using this plant for a mulch on my beds. Basically, this plant just kind of hangs out on the outside of my garden, and I cut down the leaves about 3 or 4 times a year, and then I put those in as a mulch all over my beds, and the plant just keeps coming back every time. No problems with it dying off or anything. The Comfrey plant also provides these purple flowers, which are awesome for getting pollinators into your garden. So it is definitely a multi-purpose plant. The next item on my list is strawberries. I've been growing strawberries for a while now. Strawberries are my favorite fruit, to be honest with you. So we eat those quite a bit in the garden. We do make our own strawberry jam as well. And these strawberries, I got them planted a whole new patch this year, so we'll see how well they turn up. But the strawberries will come back year after year after year. They also produce runners, so you'll get new plants from time to time. Also on my list is rhubarb. Rhubarb is a plant that I love, and I am going to have a banner year for the rhubarb. I can feel it. I got a bunch of it coming up right now. We are going to hopefully get a good harvest of the rhubarb this year. Maybe make some pies, some bread. Somebody had suggested doing a rhubarb wine, which I may do as well. Another thing on the list are chives. Usually chives I've harvest early in the year, put those in with breakfast and with my eggs. So those do very well. Just a simple plant to grow. You plant it once and you just let it come up each year. Just harvest it and make sure it doesn't spread throughout the garden. They also produce these very pretty purple flowers that are edible. They make a nice little garnish to your plate whenever you're cooking. A couple other things that I have in here. Mint. I planted this mistakenly in a spot and it keeps just coming back year after year after year. Matter of fact, I've been having troubles getting rid of it. No matter how much I pick it, it just continues to grow and grow and grow. We just continue to pick it. I'm not sure how I'm gonna ever get rid of this stuff. But yeah, it is out there and is growing everywhere. I do have it as a mulch around my apple tree, so it does a good job there. That's where I want to keep it, and it usually stays put pretty much there. But yeah, that stuff will come back year after year after year. Thyme. I grew some thyme in the garden, in my landscaping as a ground cover, and haven't really used it in the kitchen much yet. But this year, I promise you, I will try to harvest that and try to get some more thyme in the kitchen. Another plant that I like in my garden are hops. I have as a side hobby, I do brew my own beer sometimes. And one of those ingredients I can grow out in the garden is hops. I'll take these hops and make a fresh hop beer. It's pretty cool that I can do that. So these are nice little cone-shaped things that you can just pick off. And once you get them picked off the plant, you usually either dry them or you can use them as fresh as for a fresh hop beer. Stick them in the freezer and they'll last for about 6 months or so. But you're after what the hops are the oils that are inside. It's called lupulin, and that oil is responsible for bittering or flavoring the beer. Also in the garden I have here are daisies. I planted a bunch of daisies last year, just something to have pollinator plant in the garden. I didn't realize that they were perennials, but they are. And matter of fact, they just come back and keep coming back every year. So we're blessed with a few daisies in the garden. I got one specific daisy in there that was my 2024 single seed challenge. And I'm happy to say that she is still alive and well, doing very well in fact. She is growing very, very, very vigorously this year. So hopefully we'll get a bunch of flowers on her this year. Last year we didn't have many flowers on her. So we will see if that turns out or not. Okay, let's talk about a couple things in the garden that we have that aren't necessarily perennials, but yet every year I'm finding myself seeing volunteers because they've either overseeded themselves or somehow or another they found their way into the compost pile, and then voila, there you go, I got another plant. The first one of those I've noticed was chamomile. I swear, man, all you need to do is get one successful chamomile plant going, and the next thing you know, you'll have chamomile the rest of your life. I got chamomile scattered all over the garden. Now, chamomile is a fantastic plant. For one, it is a great pollinator plant for your garden. It is awesome at getting you many different pollinators to your garden. If you look, whenever you have chamomile in bloom, they'll always have little beneficial pollinators, beneficial insects hovering around there that will either pollinate your garden or insects that will kill other insects that are detrimental to your garden. So definitely a good idea to have some chamomile in your garden. The other thing chamomile is good for is making chamomile tea. I love some chamomile tea once it starts getting cold out. I'm always find myself sipping on a hot cup tea. Sure makes it nice that I can just grow it for free in my garden. How awesome is that? Another item that I'm always gonna find in my garden are going to be walking onions. Now, supposedly I should have a bunch of these scattered throughout the United States. I sent off a bunch a couple years ago, and hopefully people have gotten those planted, and hopefully they're scattered everywhere. But I have walking onions that have come up everywhere in my garden. Those have been great for making onion powder in the garden. They're just a fantastic companion plant as well, because if you have walking onions in your garden, it'll deter the pests because they won't be able to smell, for instance, your tomatoes or your squash. They won't be able to smell that because the onion is so potent. So it's a fantastic plant to have in your garden. Another thing that I have in my garden that have been coming up are just various different flowers. You'll find different flowers like alyssum coming up. I do have some cone flowers that I've planted that have gone to seed, and they come up. So there's just various things that all of a sudden just pop up in the garden. Different ones that are just valuable to have. I mean, yes, they may pop up in spots I don't want them in, but I can usually dig them up, transplant them, and put them elsewhere. So tell me, are you a lazy gardener? Have you thought about growing any type of perennials in your garden? If so, what ones do you have in your garden? What things are some things that are overseeded that you just, all of a sudden you just decide, we'll just keep that there? Chamomile and those walking onions are definitely two of them for me. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys do for perennials. You guys got anything else that I should be looking at that I don't have? I was thinking about getting a cherry tree this year, but you know, we'll see if we got a spot for it or not. If you guys like what we're doing here, like to see more of my garden, we're just getting ready here in the spring. We're just starting off early in here. So if you guys want to see more of the garden, click that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. We'll see you guys all later. Cheers.